Is that the one that was in the final episode?
Yes, we use them.
We use them, yeah. That's what I thought.
Anybody wants a legit Chucky, but they, Trick or Treat Studios Chuckies, that, even though they cost $500. They were cheaper for us to use them in the show when we needed a ton of Chuckies than to make a ton of Chuckies, so we use Trick or Treat Chuckies.
We are not being paid by Trick or Treat.
I do. I have Chucky in his box and everything.
Do you?
Yes.
I have one above my dining room table, and my neighbors like would break into my house with them when they have like nephews over or something to take pictures with it, and it makes me actually need to put them in the garage or something. It's happened 3 times.
Mine lives on my couch in my living room 24/7.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. And I have this woman that manufactures babies for on TV and movies and weighted heads. They're really realistic. They've got little like white heads and like a soft spot and like little lashes. And Chucky's got 5 of them around him. He's got one in his lap, and it's a permanent installation in my house.
We're like crazy doll ladies.
Yeah.
So are you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's judging.
Yeah. So I think we should ready to start. Yeah. So hi guys. I'm Jason. I help put on Crypticon. This is Haley. She's a writer for Screen Rant. I hope you guys know who these people are.
It's okay, you don't worry.
Christine, Elise, and Fiona Dourif. Yeah, so. I'm glad you guys, well, I don't know if you're just here for Fiona, but I'm glad you guys probably figured out that we combined the interviews. I tried to put some signs up because unfortunately Alex can't be here.
Yeah.
He got sick.
He got sick from going to 9 Inch Nails concerts.
No, he did. He did 10 cities in 14 days.
Yeah, he's like a lunatic.
Yes. Also, there was some Jack White.
Oh, there was Jack White.
And
He's
some,
got
I
9
think,
Inch Nails Megan
and
now?
some Chucky, and some Butterfly, since the Butler Museum, or whatever, he's sick. Would you ask?
He's a major 9 Inch Nails fan?
He's seen them 75 times.
He's like a crazy 9 Inch Nails.
Insane.
Yeah.
But he's genuinely ill, and he called me in tears when he finally canceled. He's never canceled before, he was super bummed, so don't be mad at Alex.
Next year, probably.
I just hope it's not a Chucky related accident.
No. He's survived Chucky too long to fall victim now.
It's true. Can you guys hear us, or do we need to be on a microphone?
No, we can hear you.
Hey, all right, just fine.
Oh, yeah, my voice fucking carries anyway.
It does.
It really does.
So I originally set up these interviews. I set up all the interviews, and I set you up separately because I wasn't sure. You guys don't share a lot of scenes together. I wasn't sure if you guys like were comfortable or like knew each other well, but it seems like you guys have a pretty good friendship
Katie and I can't
relationship.
get away from her.
Yeah.
I stalk her every time.
She never calls me back, it's not true, but no, we've been friends a long time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
When I saw the 2 panels, I was like, do you think we don't like each other or something?
Is there that much to say about Chucky?
Right, 2 back to back, you know.
Well, Steve's smart enough to not give me your guys' phone numbers, because then I'd just be calling you like, hey, what's up? So I should have done my research, but no, I think it's great. So how did you guys first meet?
We're such close friends.
On a dating site.
We've
been on a dating site.
We talk about dating sites a lot though.
We met on Rayo. And
Nobody knows.
I'm gonna write it down so
No,
I'll find you on there
no.
later.
good luck with that. They won't accept me. I'm lying because they won't even accept me.
That's
It's a
not
fancy dating
true.
site.
That's
literally
not
true.
true. No, it's not.
I literally applied 4 months ago and they
That's
haven't
how
said
long
yes.
it takes. It's ridiculous. Anyway, it's
fucked up.
not worth it. And let's make this entire thing about
Dating.
about medic trials of dating in Los Angeles.
We met on Cult.
Yeah. Did we know each other before that?
No.
Colt was. We didn't meet on Curse of Chucky. I think we did.
I may have met you at the screening, but I didn't like.
Yeah.
Did
I
you ever
made
see
no
her
impression.
when you were little and she was in Child's Play too?
Or fucking 90210, which I watched. I lived
No,
in
right.
Yeah, are you kidding? And she was the cool one, right? She was like the one from the other side of the tracks. You like rooted for her. No, I knew her work for a long time. Yeah.
And you lived with Jason Priestley for a while
I
too,
did.
right?
Yeah.
Is that too
That worked
personal?
out really well.
I feel like there's a lot of people our age that would be very excited to live with him just for a day.
That's true, and they're right. They would be. My favorite punchline is when people say, "What's your favorite thing you ever took home from set?" And I say, "Jason Priestley."
He's hot.
He is hot.
Everything
Steve
was-
remains hot.
Yeah, and he was real hot back then. He was the hot one, I
He was
think.
stupid hot.
Yeah.
No, it was like a fucking. You can ride him hard and put him away wet, as they say. That's horse jargon. Put him away wet, and you wake up in the morning with wet hair, and it's like perfect. It's Brandon Walsh, and he wakes up, and I'm just like, haggard. So it was a lot of pressure to live with him. But he had his comeuppance. He's married an even hotter wife.
It always happens.
She's prettier than he is now. So.
So during Child's Play 2, Brad did all of his lines separately before the show. Did you ever get to meet
I did.
Brad on set?
I did. And I was so starstruck because I was already a huge fan. I was a huge fan of Wise Blood and of course Lucas Nest and 70s sort of movies. I'm an actor because of the kind of movies he did. And I was completely starstruck, and I got to do one little meeting in a Universal office in the morning and run our lines, and I probably peed myself a little bit. And I still pee myself a little bit whenever he shows up. He's an intimidating character, by the way. So is she, by the way. She's scary too.
Excuse me, I have a beer because it's 2 p.m.
After she Can I have my wine back?
Yeah. This is my first alcohol of the day. Don't
It's not
worry. I'm
mine.
like trash.
Sorry, what was I saying?
You were saying that you got to meet him and you were scared.
I was scared.
Yeah.
And he remains intimidating, and I still feel like every time I meet him, I have to tell him who I am.
It's not true.
I'm Christine.
It's
I'm
not
Child's Play
true.
2.
No, it's not
No,
true at all.
he knows who I am, but I never trust that that's true.
He like never, you kind of can't get interviews with him because he's like this happy man who lives on, he's like a hermit. I mean, he won't even call me back. But he was wanted to do your guys' podcast because it was him.
Chucky Talks
Yeah.
podcast.
Really? Check it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I was so scared of that interview. We did it. It's 2-parter. First part's out already. Second part's not. I did so much research on him. I watched everything that I already knew I loved again, and I watched that fucking Western that's like 17 hours long.
Oh, that bankrupted the studio.
Yeah.
I never.
It's Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Which he's in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a day I'm not getting back in my life. But he was awesome, and I was so scared. And Alex wouldn't even speak.
That's so ridiculous.
She's scary too.
So I know you don't really watch too many horror movies.
Sorry.
It's okay.
They're
No,
really
it's fine.
scary.
Did you watch any of the Child's Play movies growing up? Because your dad was in it. Did you watch her movie? Did you know her prior to going into work with her?
Well, so I knew her from 90210, man,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
like, I don't know, this makes me really lame. I couldn't watch horror movies, but I watched every single episode of 90210, and my dad would watch them too. Was it on Friday night?
A
Wednesday.
Wednesday night, and Friday night was that it? Was that it?
Yeah,
No.
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think, I wonder how many of these memories are fabricated, right? I don't know if you guys aren't sure what really happened or didn't in your life, but I think I was at the premiere of Child's Play 1 when I was 7. My dad says that I didn't see the movie. I don't believe him. Because I have a memory of hiding under a seat. I also, one of my first memories is my mom or something took me to go see him at work, and he was in a sound booth screaming like he was being burned alive. And I was probably like 6 or something, and I remember just like running, and I ran under a desk, and they couldn't find me. Beautiful memories. And then my sister was really into horror films, and all I wanted to do was be like my little sister, so my older sister. So she, would just like scare the shit out of me. And she would make me watch the Surgery channel.
Ooh,
Oh, that's torture.
Did anybody ever watch Surgery?
Yeah.
It's torture.
Look at, why are you nodding like that? It's so horrible.
Wait, try to watch My Feet Are Killing Me.
Oh.
That show is next level gross. My Feet Are Killing Me. It's like Dr. Pimple Popper, but for feet.
Oh.
And like people get their bunions like sawed.
No!
We're going out later. We're gonna watch some.
I need to catch up.
My Feet Are Killing Me is fucked up.
When you were little, though, did you, I mean, because everyone knew, it's like, a household thing. Everyone knows who
Isn't that
Chucky is.
wild?
Even, I knew who he was before I saw the movies. Did you know your dad is Chucky?
Yeah, I think I did. It became pretty clear that there was a social currency involved by the time I was like in 6th grade or something. My birthday's the day before Halloween, so we always was a Halloween party, and it's the only time he'll do the laugh. And then I also noticed when I was in high school, boys wanted to date me more. Because my dad was like,
That's sick.
I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? But yeah, I was aware of how big Chucky was. It feels like Chucky's bigger now than he was even back then. It's just like this like cultural phenomenon that I think I'm too close to understand. But you just like the amount of tattoos I've signed in my life, like it's just bananas. And we love you all. I think you guys are all lunatics, but I like deeply appreciate it.
Not getting it, not getting the cultural significance though, I have the same thing. I'm too close to it also to even get it. I don't get that he is as iconic as Frankenstein and Dracula. And
Yeah.
he really is, that's not overstated. And from the same studio too, which is kind of cute. But yeah, I don't get it either. And sometimes a little pang of that will penetrate, and I'll get a little like butterflies, like, oh my god, I'm part of this like iconic thing, and then it goes away again, and I can't grasp it. Like those things that float in your eye, and you try to see it.
Yeah.
So you did.
He's like, yeah, and.
Hey, thanks. I have all the stimulants. I also have nicotine in my. Okay. Don't smoke.
We're gonna do acid later.
Here, I'm gonna put my other addictions down. Okay.
So you had a famous dad on screen for Child's Play 2, Mr. Garrett Graham.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like working with him?
He was super cranky.
Yeah.
He really was. Like intimidating, cranky, mean sort of guy. And I don't think he was super happy to be there. What's her name? His wife, who's also very
Jenny
famous.
Agutter?
Yeah, Jenny Agutter. I think she also was like, I can't believe I'm doing this fucking movie.
I'm giving you all the dirt.
I am. And so they were both scary, but that's okay because that worked for me. I was busy being super fucking happy I had the job, and I was like, couldn't have been more excited. But they were intimidating. But I hadn't seen Garrett again until like maybe 5 years ago at a convention, and he was sort of frail. And asking me to like make for the pro photo ops, wanted me to like make sure his hair was in place, and I'm like putting his hair. And I was like, oh my god, I'm crying. Garrett Graham, the mean guy on set, said wants me to make sure his hair is cute for the photo. And of course I did. He's softened and he's a lovely boy, but he was scary then. But that works, It works when like Shannon Doherty was mean when I did that show, but that worked it worked really well. She wasn't like mean to me, but she wasn't warm. When people aren't warm, it feels like they're mean. No, if people aren't like being effusively warm, and you're the newcomer on set, they're not going out of their way to kiss your ass. It feels like they hate your fucking guts. So she was just like indifferent to me, but it felt like hostility. It wasn't in retrospect, but it felt like it, and that really worked for me too. And working.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you started off doing like a lot of TV. Like you were on 21 Jump Street for an episode.
I did one of a lot of things.
What was your favorite TV show to work on besides?
China Beach.
Yeah.
China Beach is my favorite one. I was really young. I was really early in my career. I don't have any training. I'm sort of an intuitive actor. I went in that show, and it was a bunch of really skilled, trained actors that were gracious, and the writing was exceptional. And when you're watching TV, or even a commercial and you're moved by it and you're crying, it's because you're paying attention to what people are giving to you, and so as you're watching TV or a movie and you're emotionally moved, that's true on a set too. So the person across from you is delivering something incredible, your organic reaction comes out. So if somebody's a great actor opposite you, you almost have no acting left to do. If the words are there and the actor across from you is fucking giving it, it just happens organically. You know, that's the most,
the best,
the most magical thing that can ever happen. It happened on that show really early in my life. And I kept people from that show in my real life too, which almost never happens. Chucky's an exception, none or two is an exception.
Chucky, you guys are all really close, right? I mean, Don Mancini,
Yeah, the
Kirshner,
pictures you posted.
Alex,
you and
what is it like? It
Don.
seems like from a fan perspective, like a real family behind the scenes.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, to me, it feels so incestuous. So, so it's my dad, it's Christine and Alex and Jennifer, who I've known for a long time, and then Don Mancini, who's a very close friend of mine, and I introduced him to Nick Antosca, who's the other executive producer. So yeah, we're just everybody I've ever known.
What's it like kissing Jennifer?
She's
Everyone wants to know that.
She seems like she'd be a really great kisser.
So here's the deal: is you can't tell who you're gonna have chemistry with, and I think we did.
Yes.
I think we had chemistry. I mean, she's like, you know, a good bit older than me.
How dare you? That's outrageous. She's 26.
And we were, everybody was like a little, because I had like no clothes on in that scene. God.
Looking smoking, by the way.
Oh my God. And then you get like photos tagged of you of just like the close-ups of your ass for like months later. But yeah, she was a good kisser. Sensual.
Okay, I got you.
So Alex and I have this podcast, and we did a live watch party of episode 5, which is the one where you two romped around in that round bed. And so in the live watch party, Alex asked me spontaneously, who do you think's having more fun in this scene, Jennifer or Fiona? I'm like, that dude in the chair. I was like, please don't get a boner. Please don't get a boner.
I think I had a shot of whiskey before I shot it. I think I did.
Good on you.
I know, yeah.
So you got, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know, they've maintained the same people playing the characters, and they brought you back even after, you know, so many years. What was it like coming into this family? I mean, because they've been together, you know, Brad and Don and David from the first movie.
For me, when I was first cast in Curse, I was more afraid to do that than I had done than I was to do anything. And I had worked a good bit before then on stuff that I think is probably watched a little bit more. But this was like, it's just part of my dad's legacy. And I was like, if I do this and I'm bad, like it's just gonna suck so bad. I was like, and so the stakes definitely felt higher. And I didn't know Dawn really before. And then Dawn and I ended up having a lot in common. So we ended up pretty close friends. Like, you know, we're actually really close.
Do when you hang out with Don Mancini, like, does he show you his doll collection?
Yeah, he's got a doll collection. He's like a horror fanatic. He's a fanatic.
He's a cinema fanatic.
He's a cinema fanatic. What do I do with Dawn? We bicker, and he'll order food. He'll order food, and we'll have dinner. And sometimes I get him to walk around the block. I mean, he's just wonderful. I don't know. It's just I don't know. He'll listen to me like bitch about boys or about my dad. He was there with me when I found out my mother died. You know, and what he did. I don't know if anybody's been through that, but it's a very strange. It's kind of nothing like it. And what I wanted to do was go get this couch that was in storage. That was like how I dealt with my grief. So Dawn drove me out to the 20 miles away to the valley, and we picked up, me and him, this sofa couch, which is incredibly, it's impossible to move. And he moved a sofa couch with me because my mom had died 12 hours earlier. So it's just one of those, friendships. Didn't your mom die? No,
My dad died.
your dad died.
Don wasn't there and there was no couch involved.
No. Let us know when your mom died.
Good Lord! Oh my God! Oh my God! Don't do that to me. No, Don, you can't overstate the kindness of Don Mancini. And
Jesus Christ, yeah.
And it's exceptional on a set that every actor and the crew too, that nobody's got a problem with that dick producer or the dick showrunner. Like no one thinks Don's a dick. Nobody on earth. Like he's like the Luke Perry of horror. And that you'll never find a person say anything bad about Luke Perry, even when he was alive. There's nobody that doesn't love Luke Perry, and there's nobody that doesn't love Don Mancini. He's just a really genuine guy. And his sentimentality is so extreme that people like Alex Vincent, who we met when Alex was 6. I met Don when I was 24 and Don was 26. That he keeps us around like family.
When you came back, all these years later to do this series, what was it like? Did it feel like time had passed? Like how have they changed?
Well, Alex I reconnected with him at a convention like 12 years ago, and we talked pretty much every day. He's really my brother from another mother. Don I knew, I have a friend in common, Jennifer Tilly. I met in the 80s at a play in the 80s and met her back then, and then she was friends with a guy named Paul Robinson who was best friends with Jason Priestley, and so she's in my life sort of in this incestuous way. And then because of her and Paul, I would see Dawn socially too throughout the years, intervening where I wasn't involved with the project. So it always just felt like ongoing family. And it still does. So and Dawn keeps a really friendly set. He's the safest place. He's the safest place to work.
Speaking of set, you guys are currently working on season 2, yes?
Do you guys watch it?
Yes.
Yes.
Promise to watch it?
Yes.
I really want to get this Eames chair, so you guys need to watch it. I can't quite afford it.
Worried for you. You got boxing Helena. You have no limbs. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm really expensive. Is the deal. I became like the because it costs a lot of money to go back and green screen the stuff. But when I first found out that was gonna happen, Don called. He was like, somebody texted me. He's like, "Can you talk?" And he was so gleeful. You should have heard like the sound of his voice. There's a bunch of Easter eggs. Like what I forget what the episode is called. But he thought he was the most clever. And now, actually, I saw him, I was just up in Toronto 3 days ago, and he was like, I kind of regret it. It's not a lot that you can do. I mean, I just became the most expensive character in horror. That's probably not true, but.
But in the Chucky universe, anything can happen, so,
Yeah.
I mean, Dan
Yeah.
Sawa died twice last season. He's coming back.
At least you're coming back, right?
I'm coming back. That has been
Yeah.
announced, yes.
Yes.
But more confusingly, Devin Sawa is coming back. Twice.
Gee, we don't know.
Is there a triplet?
I'm not telling you.
It's another brother.
Is there anything that you guys can tell us about season 2 so far, or is it pretty on the ropes?
There's an episode that's so batshit crazy.
I can tell you what number it is.
Oh, we don't know where it's gonna be placed. We know where the episode.
Right now it's placed.
Yeah. No, I mean, you'll get in trouble, not me.
It's
so.
exceptional.
It's crazy, and there's a lot of surprise celebrities that show up.
A-list guest stars. It's badass as fuck. It's gonna be so great.
And there's the announcement that Glenn Glenda is coming back.
That's been announced?
I saw that they cast Lachlan Monroe to play Glenda, possibly Glenn.
You know that? Do you know that?
Bring it back.
I don't know a damn thing.
I don't know that either.
Yeah?
Who liked Glenn and Glenda? Can you guys raise your hands? Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's like almost half. but that
Is it
broke
just
a
a
lot
rumor?
of boundaries,
I
that
don't know.
movie, and it was so long ago.
They didn't tell us anything.
Yeah?
They didn't want us to leak shit. But I was like, if Glenda comes back, I don't know who here is a RuPaul's Drag Race fan, but I was like, Goth Meg would be the perfect Glenda.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I got nothing on that one.
So was it Dom's idea for you to play young Charles?
Yes, it was Dawn's idea. Do you wanna know why?
Yeah.
Because I have a fucking natural loud cackle.
Yeah.
I've been made fun of my whole life. And now I monetize it, so fuck them.
There you go, Fiona.
How did it feel playing a character that was made famous by your dad? How did it feel becoming your father?
I'll be totally honest with you guys. I didn't think it was gonna be a thing, and it takes 4.5 hours, and probably 3 hours into it, I looked in the mirror and was real uncomfortable. Right? Because I'm following in his footsteps in a lot of ways, and people associate me with him, and I've had a career that's very separate from this, but Chucky's such a phenomenon that this is, what most people know me from, and then to have his fucking face on me, and I couldn't get it off, right? I remember it really vividly, and I went outside and smoked a cigarette, and I hadn't quit smoking, so that's worth noting, and then I FaceTimed him. And my dad's a wonderful, strange hermit. He's a strange, wonderful man. Good father, very weird dude. And I had told him, obviously I was playing Charles Lee Ray, but it hadn't seeped into his brain somehow. And I FaceTimed him, and he was looking at me, and he was like, "What's wrong with your face?" He's like, "What do you think, Daddy?" I still call him Daddy even though I'm 40. And he was like, "Oh, you're me." He's like, "I didn't know you were doing that." I was like, "I only told you 37 times." So that was that. It was just way weirder than I thought it was gonna be. It was so weird, and I was like having sex with women as my dad. It was really weird. Yeah, it was really over, and I was working for basically my best friend and my ex-boyfriend. It was just it was a very weird 4 months.
How did your dad respond? Did he coach you?
No! No, he forgot I was doing it.
After he saw it, though.
No, he told me his anecdote is after he saw it, he was like, "I think she played a better Charles E. Ray than I did." But he's also my dad and he loves me. So I was like, "Aw, Dad, that's very cute." Yeah.
He said that on the podcast.
He did.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my God, she does it better me than I do."
I hate watching myself. I fucking loathe it. There's nothing I hate more than that. I always feel it's so hard, and I can watch myself as Charles Lee Ray because it doesn't look like me at all. It looks like my dad. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty. It's good." I thought the dubbing sucked. Did you guys like the dubbing? Yeah. You guys liked it. It's fine. You were wrong.
It's a little awkward at times.
I didn't like it.
It's a little...
I thought it was interesting that they didn't, because at first I was like, I thought it might be one of those deep fakes. I was like, why does it look so much like him? Because I don't remember you even being credited as him.
I think they tried to keep it under wraps for a long time. Did anybody who here raise your hand if you knew immediately that it was me? How many of you saw it though? Most of you saw it. So a lot of you didn't catch it. Are you lying to be nice?
I saw it on Instagram before I could see the episode.
Oh no! But I got 100,000 followers from posting that, so I had to do it.
So when I watched it, I watched all the movies with my daughter. She's 10 years old.
You're a lunatic.
We started when she was younger than that, but when the Chucky series came out, she was super excited, and we watched it each week, every episode as it came out.
Wonderful.
And when I told her, I was like, "Brad, who does the voice of Chucky? That's his daughter playing him." And she was like, "No." She's like, "Fuck no, no way."
Fuck no, she said.
Yeah, no, I let her watch horror movies. Why wouldn't I let her say fuck? no, she's like, no possible way. And then we'd watch the next episode, and she's like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't get it. I'm like, no, she's just doing a fucking great job.
Yeah, it's true.
I get credit for it, but to be honest, what sold that is the makeup.
Mhm.
No,
Makeup people.
I met her, I was on set, I was working with her, but I came to set when you were in that situation. And your energy was different and everything. Like, you just like carry yourself differently. You were weird.
Wait, can I tell one more anecdote about that? So there was, on the last day that I was Charles Lee Ray, there was this time frame where they couldn't take my makeup off. It's real uncomfortable, right? You like don't want to be sitting in it. But to Neil, the people who were doing the movie makeup, they had to like finish a shot or something. And so I was like, I need to go to a bar and see if I pass. And I did. I went to a bar. I went to a bar in Toronto, and it was like kind of a biker bar. And I was like, whatever I do, I have to just like, I just have to do this, and I have to like not break character. And so I tried to flirt with the waitress.
I love this.
She didn't. She wasn't into me. And I don't totally know if she knew or not. I think I passed. I mean, I actually
Maybe
think
your
I
game
passed.
is just bad.
I think I have a bad game. But there were a couple things that I noticed. I was wearing I was wearing like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt that wasn't, that could have like started a kind of I was wearing like a dumb t-shirt, a dumb sweatshirt. And I remember feeling, it just felt different to walk through the world like a man. I felt like I could get a fight. I feel like somebody could start a fight in a way that like doesn't kind of occur to me as a woman. There was just like there was a how you walk through the world really felt different. And I got to experience that. It was really cool.
That's amazing. So like you didn't have to walk to the parking lot with your keys in between your fingers, like none of the shit girls do.
Yeah, but also it felt I felt a little bit more threatened or threatening. I was also very anxious. But the woman, when she like came out to give me the check, she was like, "You're not from around here, are you?" I was like, "No." Thanks, love. Anyway, that's my
Oh my
story.
God, I love that.
And then we went home and fucked.
I mean, it's hard to bring waitresses home, so like, good on you.
For
played.
both of you, for Mika and for Kyle, how different are these characters from who you really are? Like, how much acting is there? Like,
Yeah, do you really have a wheelchair?
No, this woman has to go first.
Okay, so I believe there's two schools of acting. There's the school of acting that is like the Meryl Streeps of the world that can lose themselves in a role and you can't see Meryl in it anymore. And then there's the Jack Nicholsons of the world where Jack Nicholson in a role, Jack Nicholson in different environments. And while I'm not comparing myself to Jack Nicholson, I'm more of the camp of Jack Nicholson. I'm not a trained actor. I don't have any, I just fucking wing it. So most of the characters I play are very close to who I am. That's why I got the job, because I came in there and just was me. And then they said, "Oh, that works," and they took, so I don't do a lot of acting. I just do a lot of trying to make what happens to my character make sense to me and just say the words.
Now, you grew up in Boston, pretty poor, right? And
Yeah.
you wrote an essay on it, right?
I did.
Yeah, Irish being
Yeah,
poor
Irish and
from-
American. It's a book, a
yeah.
coffee table book called Irish and American.
Right, yeah. How
My last name's McCarthy.
Yeah. How hard was it to get into acting growing up? I mean, it's sometimes it seems like it could be a privileged career unless you have a lot of talent. So how did you
That was
find
generous.
how did you find your way into acting? Because Boston's not a big town for, it's not Hollywood or New York. How did you find your way onto the TV screen and then film?
So, I think it's true, culturally, everywhere in the globe, that you tend to pick careers that your family or people around you see have. Your parents are firemen or lawyers or whatever, doctors, you tend to follow that path. My parents are both artists. My mother's a photographer, and my stepdad's a watercolorist and a sculptor. kind of musician, a drummer, so art was sort of the thing. My dad was a roofer. My dad died, thank you.
Our parents died the same way.
Our parents were both homeless and died in the street.
It's true.
So how about poverty?
Yeah.
Yay, poverty. It's actually super character building, and really, I'm not glad my dad died in the street, but I'm glad I grew up poor. So I had art around me, but I was like, I can't sing. I'm not a musician. I'm just art. What art? But I was always a fan of classic Hollywood movies, and I collected Pulp Fiction novels from the 30s to 60s. So that whole film noir thing was my fetish. And when Blade Runner came out, I was like, oh, look at that. Blade Runner is like a total reinvention of film noir. Like that's something I could do. I think I want to like become a director and like take the baton from Blade Runner and make film noir a full-on genre that it deserved to be. And so I went to Boston University Film School for a year, decided for reasons that aren't important that it was a waste of time to finish film education in a town with no industry. So I moved to Los Angeles at 19, didn't know anybody, and intended to establish residency over the course of a year and go to UCLA or USC. At the time, there were state schools, and they were $600 a year instead of $12,000, which Boston University was, which I got mostly in grants, but whatever. And so I moved there, and I worked $6 an hour as a cashier on Rodeo Drive for 2.5 years, and I was like, I can't afford time off work to go to film school. The fuck am I gonna do? I can't be a cashier, this is death. Forever? No. So, I was like, I'll take an acting class, because I want to be a director, and I want to direct actors, I should know what actors do and how to speak to them. And I took an acting class because you can do it at night after work, and I thought it wasn't as scary to me as I thought it would be. I'm super shy, and I present as super punk rock in high school, and I always present sort of very confident and aggressive, but in fact it's not the truth. And so I was impressed. I was surprised to find that acting didn't scare me as I thought it would. And then I was like, fuck it. The fastest way onto a set for me would be acting, and so I can learn how to direct that way and get in and get myself. And I looked 14.
You're also hot. Yeah.
I wasn't hot, but I looked really young.
You were hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Are you kidding?
But I looked like a tiny baby, and I wasn't. And so at like 24, I'm playing 16, you know, and it's easy to get a job when you come to audition. You have all the sophistication of an older person and all that stuff to bring to it, and also the hours of an adult, not child labor hours. And so I started working right away, and then once I realized what directors actually do, I was totally intimidated by that. And it's like the acting job is the best job on the set, and I just stayed there that way. Sorry, it's a long story, but it's true. And then I fucked somebody.
As we were waiting for, like, who'd you fuck?
I didn't fuck anybody though.
With you, Fiona, how similar to Nika are you?
I don't know, man. She had it so hard. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Nika now, who's like half possessed by a serial killer. I mean, I think I'm that actor too. I'm generally the Jack Nicholson one, except I get hired to play all these like monsters. When I got Curse of Chucky, I had gone through, I think it was like 4 rounds of auditions, and then Don told me why I was cast, and he was like, you were the only actress who I believed had suffered enough to be believable in a wheelchair. I was like, thanks. I was like, I'll fucking take it. So there's something like that. I mean, I love Nika. Nika's a warrior. She's unwilling to view herself as a victim. She's had a litany of things that are virtually impossible to get your head around having done to her, and she just lives in this alternate reality that it's like, all right, this is it, then I will fight to the death for either revenge or self-respect or whatever. And who doesn't want to live in that mind frame? Nika's dope. Love Nika.
You talked about being cast and other stuff. You have done other things.
I've done other things.
You've done
Awesome
You were in
thing.
The Curse.
Yeah, and
I was
you
a top four
dirt
step.
gently.
Yeah. No, I did a show. I was in the Christopher Nolan movie, which was the hardest thing I've ever shot in my life. But I was cast right around the time of Cult of Chucky in this weird TV show that people in America haven't seen, but was a hit in it was on Netflix worldwide, so it had a following. But I was just like this monster covered in blood, like dirty character that kind of talk like that. And she was real cool and otherworldly and super feral, and because of that character, which is really singular, I think, I got the joy to play her. I get offers for stuff that's like feral monster, so I've like fallen into this niche that I am so grateful for. Right? Because women sometimes, like, I don't play the hot girl ever. I play like the nightmare. I just play like the nightmare monster, and I feel it's one of the luckiest things that's ever happened to me.
Is that the one? I went through your photos on IMDb one time, and it's like, I feel like chain link, and you like with like skimpy clothing on. And, like,
Yeah, I have like, yeah, I know. I mean,
That's fucking
yeah, they
awesome.
worked that in. You know what I mean?
No,
They
you
went
know,
to the front and worked
the
that.
photos are so edgy and interesting. Go to IMDb and look their photos.
You don't have to.
Just Google Fiona naked and.
Fiona naked.
Yeah, Fiona
Yeah.
naked, or in skimpy outfits.
Sometimes if I'm dating somebody, there becomes this moment where they like look me up online, and I just have to be like, I don't totally look like that. It's actually like kind of a bane of my existence.
That's why I'll die alone. 'Cause I'm not kidding.
Me neither,
People
girlfriend.
are horrible anyway, so.
That's
You're
right.
better off on your own. Yeah.
I have one more question for you, because you talked about so much how this is such a personal franchise for both of you. It's such a family. What were your thoughts when the reboot came out?
The first one.
Well, I went on the record right away. I did a little podcast, like, and when you're doing a podcast on the phone with somebody, you neglect to, like, I tend to forget that it's gonna become public fodder. And he asked me, and I was like, it's a huge dick move. It's totally fucked up. You don't fucking usurp somebody's intellectual property like that. You don't. And what the interviewer didn't know at the time was I knew the TV show was in development. So my great fear was that this movie would cockblock the TV show. And so I had very personal interest in this, why this truly fucking happened. And it got, the guy, when I finished answering it, it was pretty colorful. The guy was like, that's the best answer to a question I've ever gotten in my life. That might have not been good. And then a series of headlines like Christina Elise rages about the roof, loses her fucking mind, and then more and more like hardcore, like really dramatic titles for these in my saying it's a fucking dick move.
Jasper clicks, yeah.
Don Mancini took me to a very nice dinner as a reward for such dialogue. But here's the thing, so I genuinely, like, so you have this thing, they leave the right to do it. I feel really bad for Don that his baby's being like, and it's his baby and he still loves it as much today as he ever did. And I think the TV show, you guys can feel that his love for the baby is still genuine and enthusiastic. To have somebody else take it over and fuck with it is outrageous. And then I was like, I don't even know what to wish for with this movie. Do I wish that it succeeds? Because then they'll go, oh, there's a giant appetite for Chucky. We should definitely do this TV show. Or do I go, it succeeds and they go, oh, they took the baton, we're going to quit. Or if it fails, do they go, there's no appetite for Chucky, so they don't do the show. Or do they go, it fails and so we still have the baton? I didn't even know what to fucking wish for. And my real wish was the show.
Yeah, which happened and was a huge hit. The show was a huge hit.
They know.
Yeah. But like the amount of people that watched it was really wonderful. And I think one of the consequences of that is that Don Mancini's name is now like front and center on all of the advertisements to differentiate it, right? There's been a singular voice behind this cultural phenomenon for 30 years.
35.
Right? 35 years. And that's one of the things that makes it really cool. There's stories that have remained intact You know, he doesn't just make the same thing over and over, he reinvents it, but like keeps a through line, and he's smart. There's a reason why Chucky's so popular. I love him with my whole heart, but also he's a very clever, smart, thoughtful person, and is trying to make it about something, but also fun. He doesn't take it too seriously. You know, and to have somebody like cash in on it, while he's still making content, I thought it was also lame. And also, I mean, I didn't see it, but I've decided it was lame.
Same. I didn't see it either because it's a total, it's a betrayal to see it. Although I think Aubrey Plaza is fucking hilarious. Watch her, like, Google her on talk shows. She's the funniest bitch on earth.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't present anybody in it, but I feel bad for Don that it happened.
Yeah. So we have a little bit of time left, and well, I could talk to you guys all day with my own questions. I think it would be
Alright.
unfair for me to not open it up to the crowd.
Right there.
So what's this Chucky Talks podcast all about? 'Cause I've never heard of it or
Alex
seen it.
Vincent and I started a very controversial podcast called Chucky Talks. I'm not even being funny. And it's Alex and I just sort of giving love to the first season of Chucky. So we interview a bunch of actors. We got all the kids. We got Brad. We got Jennifer. We got Tony Gardner. We'll get Dawn. And then every other episode, for the first 4, we did an episode breakdown where Alex and I would watch it and like do a whole breakdown and try to point out the various sort of Easter eggs and homages that Dawn would throw in the show. And the last 4 episodes, we've decided it's going to be live watch parties. So if you follow Alex or I on Patreon, at the $10 level for the next 3 months, those were live watch parties on Zoom. So you can come in and we're going to watch episodes 6, 7, and 8 live, and you can join us and we comment and you can comment and it's a whole thing. But a lot of it's up. It's on chuckytalks.com, and most of it's up on YouTube already. And Jennifer Tilley, our Half Your Dad's thing is already up. He's a 2-parter, and so is Jennifer. Jennifer's I think gonna drop next Tuesday at 10. So
Are you guys on any other platforms other than
it's
YouTube?
Spotify and all that stuff.
Okay.
Alex handles that. It's above my pay grade. But
Yeah.
This is for Christine. So, Child's Play 2 is my favorite horror. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
it's gonna seem self-serving or like narcissistic or something, but I really like the scene on the swing where she's smoking and she kicks the roof and finds the buried Chucky. When she just thrown a Chucky in the trash can, and you watch her sort of realize, oh fuck.
I remember that scene.
He's really,
Yeah.
I was, again, I'm not a trained actor, and when I watched that scene again, I'm sort of impressed at how genuinely freaked out I look. I'm like, look at her acting!
How was it working with Alex as a child? Was he, like, would he ever get scared on set, or is he, like, pretty well aware that it was all make-believe?
Well, he was an old pro, first of all. It's the second movie for him. And he was a little, like, sprite. He was very confident. He knew everybody's lines. He was a little bossy pants. And
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he talkative? Was he personable? Did you
Oh my
know?
God. You know,
Yeah.
he was the same guy he is now, but at 7 years old. Like, very smart, very self-confident, very like, I'm gonna tell you about you right now. But he's a baby, so you love it. It's cute. Like, he's precocious and really confident. And so, yeah. In fact, one of the nicest things he said to me that I was the when he remembers that movie, he thinks back that I was the nicest person on set to him. But he was a baby, and I was playing his sister, so I wasn't difficult to do.
How old were you?
24. And Dawn was 26.
Oh my God,
That's
that's
fucking
so
crazy.
wild. Yeah.
You in the back?
Throughout the entire 35 years, what has been your favorite death scene?
No, you're so right.
I like Bree in this TV show Out That Window. Because not only is here's why, because she's dying of cancer, and I know from in the podcast to interview her, and she says, I'll give it away, that she in her mind, in the character's mind, she was like, I'm going to pursue treatment. I'm going to choose life. I'm not going to die. And the minute she says thinks I'm going to choose life, here comes Chucky. With that decision. And it's not just the death, but then there's Junior down there, and they're like, please don't fucking Junior. And then the car gets the other car, you go, fuck, and then poof. Oh, it's fucking, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with, so the scariest moment I think in the whole franchise for me his Aunt Maggie.
Oh.
Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
news. I remember seeing that when I was like way too young, and then the babysitter, falls out the window. So it was the first out the window death, but I was like, fuck this. Yeah, stay away from windows.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, vertigo too, yeah. Scary, right?
So I know like you've been on like True Blood and like The Stand.
Oh my god, do you remember the things I've done?
Yeah,
Are
of
you?
course.
Thank you.
Of course. So I know for the Chucky series, like obviously you don't have any limbs, and you died in both True Blood and The Stand.
Oh, I only die. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always die.
Would you also, for both of your characters, like how would you like Chucky to kill you?
How would I like my dad to kill me? No.
Well, he's a hermit. Remember, he's a hermit. So
He is a hermit. It's also, I just wish I wish everybody like knew him. The idea of him as this like horror icon killer is so ridiculous. It's just so insane. How would I want Chucky? I mean, what's the like cleanest way to die? I would say like, I don't know. What like does it immediately? Like decapitated?
Electrocution, like when he.
No, we don't get electrocuted. No. I mean, like you think, you know, I had a friend who almost drowned, and he said, this is not your question. He said that he was like a kid and he almost drowned, and something happened where like endorphins kicked in or whatever, and then when his parents figured it out and took him up, he was pissed at them. So maybe I want to drown.
That's clean too, because you're all washed up.
You don't look too bad, you know what I mean? You're clean.
If
it's
they find you
easy.
soon enough.
If you drown, how do you want to die? I don't know.
Get all bloated and float
Yeah,
on top.
like fish eat you and stuff.
Yeah, now I can imagine her bloated and floating in a.
I'm already bloated. You have to imagine
So what is your respective movies? What is your favorite memory of the movies?
Of the Chucky movies?
Yes, for both of you.
I'm gonna say my most distinct memory of the Chucky movies is, I guess distinct is the wrong word, but the one that like has the most emotional resonance, thank you, is seeing my dad, hearing my dad get like burned alive.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that made an impression. Go ahead, you did.
I don't have an answer for that because you as an audience you see trauma happening all over the place, but that's not how it feels when you're shooting it.
Right.
It's a game. It's like a kindergarten where everyone's making pretend and going to eat too many brownies at the craft service table. So there's nothing traumatic about doing it unless there's somebody on set you don't get along with, which doesn't happen very often, hopefully. So
This is more fun.
it's just fun, and if you're like me, and you like getting to work as an actor is such a gift. It's such a difficult boat to keep afloat. You just walk around being fucking grateful.
Though in The Curse of Chucky, I got fucked up. I looked at the end of shooting the finale, and I was covered from head to toe in bruises, which is kind of, it goes with the game that that happens when you're doing horror, but like.
And she had to practice falling down for that Nika Chucky transition. You said you practiced.
Oh yeah.
The free fall drop.
Constantly. They actually beat me up a lot.
Actually, me too. Because in Child's Play 2, there's the one scene where after I find Joanne dead and I wrestle with him with the lamp in the bedroom and all that fighting's happening. And then and he trips me as I'm walking out the door, and I have to hit my head on the floor, and he comes into frame with the knife, just like getting in the car, bitch, whatever he says to me. But they made me hit my head on that thing. I'm getting falling harder. Because they wanted to see like cheeks jiggle, they wanted to see impact. And I'm like, okay. I'm like really winging it. Like, oh, sorry, we weren't ready that time.
You had to focus, and you wouldn't mind doing it and just hitting up a little bit more?
Yes.
Great.
And harder. But Chucky didn't get in frame in time.
Oh yeah, that's the deal. That's why you get bruises. Is like you'll do it perfectly, but fucking Chucky will look constipated or something.
Yes.
Constipated. I know. Is that right?
It was good for you, but not for Chucky, so do it again.
And Chucky gets like 15 days.
Yes.
I wish everybody got to work with this Joel, because when he's just a little off, he's the least scary thing you've ever seen.
Well, also, like in the car scene, I have a picture on my table where I'm kissing Chucky, and that of course didn't happen in the movie. But in the car scene,
Wait, what?
it's on my table. You can see it right there. It's my favorite photo.
Wait, was that in the script? Were they
No.
like, and then she
So it
makes
happened.
out?
No.
Okay.
So here we are in the car, and he's like, "Drive, bitch! I'll kick your teeth in, whatever." And I'm like, so, and then the dog's like this, like going. They can do anything, right? They're like, so I'm like, oh, you want it? And they went for a kiss, and they caught the photograph, and so now I recreate it every time. I did it again on Cult. I have a still of that. I mean, kissing the Chucky head with the chains, and I did it again for the show. So it's
So
themed
weird.
now. Yeah, it's a great photo on my
Yeah.
table. You can look at
I
it.
have no interest.
You ever interested in kissing your father?
It's a doll.
Maybe like on the cheek?
Oh yeah, no, I hug him aggressively sometimes, and he just kind of stands there. It's like, oh, you're a kid.
I hate a bad hugger.
He's not.
He's a stiff hugger? He's a stiff hugger?
He's not into it.
Yeah.
But he loves me very much.
He does.
He's a good dad.
He does.
Do you guys hug your parents?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to hug your parents.
Is your dad a good hugger?
My mom is.
Right.
My
And how about
parents
your dad?
aren't.
Like, when was the last time you were like,
My dad's not a hugger. My mom, yeah, absolutely, yes.
You
My
said the
mother
same
calls me
thing.
short hairy one. She adores me.
That's good.
short hairy one? It's very cute.
My parents can't hug either.
No, they're not huggers.
My mother can't say I love you.
No.
Oh.
It's crazy. She's got Asperger's. She's a little on the spectrum a little bit. I'm like, bitch, tell me you love me. She's like, But she worships me.
Yeah.
She defends my
Yeah.
characters and what they do. Like, there's no question. I'm an only child, and it's me and my mom, my stepdad. It's my entire family. It's the three of us. She worships me. I cannot fucking say I love you, so I torture her. I tell her aggressively, love you!
That's actually something about the Chucky family is I feel like we all say that all the time. Like we're like teenage girls. We're like, okay, bye, Dawn, I love you. You know what I mean? It's a little ridiculous.
And you
We have all these broken
you
parents.
watch the movies,
Everybody has
right?
broken parents. That's what it is.
You watch the movies, too. I know some actors don't watch their stuff, but you guys watch the movies, right? And the show?
I've watched all. Yes, I know. In fairness, I didn't watch 3 through 3 Brighter Seeds for a long time because I was bitter because I wasn't in 3 or Brighter
Should have
Seeds.
been in 3.
Well, Alex and I were like, yeah, we did a good job. The movie's ahead. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, bye, thanks, bye. So, like, a little bit mad about that. But then you have to catch up. There's so much story, and I love Dawn, so you get over it. And, you know, I've watched them all. And then there's all these, like, marathons that happen over and over. And I made my mother watch the whole fucking sequence one time, and she was like, I can't take it anymore. But I watched the show because I intentionally didn't read a lot of stuff that I'm not in. Because then you watch it as an audience member, so like fall in love with the kids and like all their stories. Like my character has no interaction with them for the most part, so what's happening with them doesn't affect my performance or what my character is going through. So, but I watched the show every night as it aired, and then again before I went to bed, and I watched them all again. I'm a huge fan of the show.
I gotta say, when you were in that stinger at the end of Cult where you show up, I literally got up and cheered. It was the coolest thing. I was so happy to see you return.
Thank you.
You're my daughter's favorite character, so she was really worried that you were not going to be coming back, and so yeah.
So was I.
No, it was very cool to see that.
You were like the cool big sister everybody wanted when you were like a kid and watch those movies.
I wanted one too. Yeah.
You can only child?
Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, guys. I feel like we could talk for like another 5
Yes.
hours.
I know I had a full beer and I feel very drunk.